people, this is like Bowling Green's big treasure chest. And so I get to play around in the treasures.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about what you do here at the library.
I'm the department head for Library Special Collections.
And you've been here 30 years?
30 years of fun. Duncan Hines loved to travel, and that was part of his job as a traveling salesman. He enjoyed good food. He had enjoyed good food as a child. You know, cornbread, biscuits, apple pie, coffee, fried ham, country ham, of course, and eggs and butter. He loved all of those things. He had a very distinguished palate, and so he knew good food when he ate it. He had a very good habit of recording this information in a little notebook that he kept in his breast pocket. He thought, well, you know, these traveling salesmen are always asking me good places to eat, so why don't I just send a list of these with our Christmas cards one year? The ideas are going off in his head. He was in the specialty printing business. If I could print a book that listed good restaurants, places to eat, and so in 1936 he published Adventures in Good Eating. It was not successful. The first issue lost money, but after that it was successful, and it gradually became a glove compartment must. If you were recommended by Duncan Hines, it was a big deal. You appeared in his books, which were nationally distributed. This could be the difference between a break-even business and a boom business. And if you wanted to advertise, then you had to purchase one of his signs. And actually, you didn't purchase it, you rented one of his signs, and Duncan Hines could have the sign removed if you didn't return it to him. Absolutely. This is how smart he was about this. And he crusaded. So he would often walk into the back of the kitchens to observe what was going on. And he said it didn't take long to screw up your courage if you saw what he had seen. He never was afraid to go into the background and poke in the corners to see what was going on in the places that he was eating. You could have a clean kitchen and have good tasting food. He insisted on it. But Duncan Hines never wanted to sell his name. He said, that's really the only thing I own, and it's what gives me my independence until Roy Park comes along. And he knew Duncan Hines' name was gold. He said, I think you can help improve America's eating habits if you market some good products under your name. Let's put his name on something and see if it would work. And it led to the product naming of over 150 food items with his name on it. Duncan Hines' name came up at the top.
So we're out here at the Kentucky Museum at the Recommended by Duncan Hines exhibit, and it kind of tells the story of his traveling salesman days up to his food brand names.
Right. And so the first food product that came out under his name was ice cream, and then other things that were perishable that came out under his name, butter, which for Duncan Hines, butter was a big deal. Anything that you could think about that could be related to food preparation, you began the marketing of these wonderful baking products that we still know Duncan Hines' name for today.
Devil's food, tasty, every luscious bite moist, dark, chocolatey rich. Duncan Hines Devil's Food, the mix with a chocolate tree secret.
We truly believe that our clients are our partners.
We're very real about where we are. What we want more than anything is just be honest with the client.
I think it just makes our clients feel like they're taken care of, and we care about them as a business, not just getting their business.
Let the person know we hear you, got your request.
We are very responsive. Being responsive is huge.
And we really focus on growing our clients while they're doing the job of running their business every day.
And one of the really great things about this kitchen is it includes a number of things that actually belong to Duncan Hines. It's a wonderful stove. It has, as you can see, it has a double oven, a double broiler. It has built-in salt and pepper shakers. This was made by General Electric right here in Kentucky, in Louisville. And you know Duncan Hines would have the newest and best equipment and appliances in his home.
Back in 1960, this whole place went for $36,500. And he said, man, we thought of everything, but we never thought about it being used for a funeral home. And then later on, we moved into the old Mr. Hines' apartment area, and that's where we lived. My sister Brenda, my mom and dad, Bill and Mary Lou. This was our home for many years. It was a neat place to grow up as a kid.
And you all kept the kitchen exactly the way Duncan Hines left it, right?
Well, I don't know that exactly. I mean, no one realized much, especially a kid like me growing up. I didn't know who Duncan Hines was. I just thought this was a pretty neat place. I'd never seen such a big place.
So the patio was out here.
The patio was out here. It's still down there where it was back in 1960 when we moved here. And for a lot of years, we used it ourselves.
You see, it was just a herringbone pattern brick pad. As you can again imagine, anything that could be marketed that was related to food preparation outside, then it was a possibility to get his name on it. So this grill was one of 8 different grill designs that were issued under his name.
I had heard other people say, well, boy, I heard he was a good cook. I said, well, you know, the more I look into it, I don't think he really cared that much for cooking. But he did like all the paraphernalia that went with it.
Even here on the table, you see the knives and cutlery was really big to Duncan Hines. You see they have a little tag on it that say Duncan Hines, and that's how they were sold.
And I think that's pretty well obvious by what you're looking at there. It looks like he had a knife and a tool for whatever he might run across.
Every occasion, right?
So he would jot down in his little black book, you know, some of the better restaurants to eat at and some of not so better to eat at.
You know, he knew he had a good voice, and he knew he could tell stories, and he knew he could answer questions and all that. And he knew he could sell his product. It meant he was a salesman. So he knew he could do that. Who had something to sell, and that was his name. And that name, to him, meant trust. And people trusted that name when it came to food preparation.
And you said that people frequently stop by and ask questions about Duncan Hines since you've got the marker outside, right?
We do. You know, when they first put that up, we'd see someone stop, and we just assumed they were looking here for the funeral home. And we got used to it finally, and they would go out and have a picture made by it and this, that, and a few brave souls would actually come in and knock on the door. And if we weren't busy, we took time to talk to them. I know my mom and dad did. You welcome people. My dad used to say when people used to make yourself a home. And I had an employee one time said, why does he say that? I said, because he means it. Here's a home that touched a lot of people back in his days. All these years later, we're still here caring for people.
I like that, Bill.
It's not the easiest thing to find. It is in the older section, you know, so on the left-hand side as you're going out of town. So you drive in, it's not at the front of the cemetery, but as you get into the middle where there are some rounded circles, you'll see him. He's right off to the side. There are a bunch of Hines right there together. I don't think there's a sign or anything there that says Duncan Hines, but his grave is marked. That name was really, really important. And that association of trust with that name, he built on, and he didn't ever want it to be disrupted.
Describe the sign.
Give a description of the sign that is displayed when you recommend
it. Says recommended by Duncan.
It simply says recommended by Duncan Hines.
Number 1, will you describe a little more explicitly?
There are 2 signs. They both read the same way. One is a small sign, the other is a large.